We're back here on the Yaffee program, News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Glad you've joined the show today. If you missed any of the show live, well, the podcast is up on the website, WVNN.com, or anywhere podcasts are available. In fact, this is the time of show where I kind of recap what we talked about. Time for the Yaffee program Rewind. All right, and yes, that time of the show where I remind you once again, if you missed it, the podcast is up. So at the beginning of the show today, I read a lot of this piece from the editorial board at the Wall Street Journal because I think it's important because they put Iran isn't winning this war. Now, this really shouldn't be controversial. You look at the stats when it comes to how much we've decimated the Iranian military, it should be pretty obvious. But if you listen to a lot of the propaganda press or the Democrat Party, they will kind of argue it's already a disaster and Trump should just pull out now. But the Wall Street Journal, they said that Iran could win if U.S. troops stop bombing due to higher oil prices now. Now, things have calmed down a little bit, but I think they make a good point. It says the reality inside Iran and the region is that the U.S. and Israel continue to make progress. The regime loses more of its military each day, along with the ability to hurt its neighbors. The Israelis estimate 70 to 75% of Iran's missile launchers have been destroyed, and the U.S. has destroyed at least 43 Iranian ships. So I read a lot of that. I think it's important, and it really debunks the narrative that you've seen out there that it's already lost. I mean, you see those in the propaganda press practically already saying it's defeat because oil prices went up for like a day. And I keep reminding people, one, calm down, but two, it's been 10 days. So I think we're actually winning. So if you missed me talking about it, the podcast of That's Up. I also did the Alabama bullet points, the top stories from around the state, including the fact that Tuberville is going to be our next governor. As you know, he was in Huntsville yesterday, and he talked about how Alabama played a key role in this Iranian operation. And he called Operation Epic Fury the most lethal, successful air campaign in world history. And he said basically a lot of the innovations for that are from Redstone Arsenal, are from Huntsville, are from Alabama. Which, of course, he's right about that. So I had that and more in the Alabama bullet points. If you like the Yaffee Facebook page, follow me on X at Yaffee or Instagram at Yaffee Live. You can catch the podcast there. Then I did talk a little bit more about the latest on the ground in Iran and the latest out of the administration when it comes to Iran. Go ahead, Austin, if you can. Go ahead and play Trump Cut 1. Here's what Trump said about it.
We've got very, very good intelligence into that. We know a lot of different things that have happened that have been very bad. A lot of them came in during the Biden open border period, but we have them under, we've got them. We're watching every single one of them.
They are suspected of coming here to commit an act.
So, okay, there you go. Can you can you play the Pete Hegseth cut for me as well?
This is not 2003. This is not endless nation building under those types of quagmires we saw under Bush or Obama. It's not even close. Our generation of soldier will not let that happen again, and nor will this president, who very clearly ran against those kinds of never-ending, nebulously scoped missions. Today will be, yet again, our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes. Intelligence more refined and better than ever. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles they've been capable of firing yet. Like the terrorist cowards they are, they fire missiles from schools and hospitals, deliberately targeting innocents, because they know their military is being systematically degraded. One, destroy their missile stockpiles, their missile launchers, and their defense industrial base, missiles and their ability to make them. Two, destroy their navy. And three, permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons forever. It's a laser-focused, maximum authority mission delivered with overwhelming and unrelenting precision.
Together with our...
Makes a lot of sense to me, but then you have Democrats being crazy lunatics like Mehdi Hassan was on MS Now talking about this. Play the Mehdi Hassan cut for me.
And so just from the sort of geopolitical strategic point, like on day one, to have this and to have the rhetoric being into the region, we don't care if you live or die, to not make the distinction between like civilians and combatants, just also strikes me as like wildly self-defeating at just the sort of tactical level.
Yes. It's a moral abomination, and yes, it's tactically stupid. They bombed a submarine and just let the sailors drown to death. Going again, even the Nazis didn't do that during World War II, apparently. Even the Nazis collected people from the water. This is insane rhetoric, insane behavior from people who don't give a damn. Donald Trump has never given a damn about Iranian lives. I see people in the diaspora cheering on this war, and I feel bad for them because Donald Trump screws over everyone, and he's going to screw over the Iranian people as well. He's a guy who has deported Iranians back to that government to be tortured or oppressed. He doesn't care about the Iranian people.
By the way, a lot of that is nonsense. Comparing our response, oh, it's worse than the Nazis. I don't know why that doesn't get old to these people, but apparently it doesn't. But Trump actually called on Australia to give asylum to the Iranian soccer players and the girls' soccer team who are there. Australia is doing that, but Trump offered asylum to them if Australia would not do it. So that's your Hitler. Trump is Hitler, even though he did something like that. So the whole thing is just nuts. It's crazy. But we talked about that earlier. We also had Victoria Coates on, who was a national security foreign policy expert with the Heritage Foundation. She talked about the latest in Iran and said, we have decimated a lot of their military. And countries like Saudi Arabia, they're going to ramp up production pretty soon again, which is good news. And she kind of agrees with me that a lot of the talk from the Democrats almost declaring defeat is way, way premature, which of course it is. So we had a good conversation about that earlier on in the show. Then I talked about this whole debate started by David French in he used to be of the National Review. Now he's with the New York Times, claiming that the Senate candidate, Democrat out of Texas, James Talrico, is a great Christian, well, because he's nice, ignoring everything he has said that is completely against the Bible. But he's nice. So, there were probably a lot of people who thought, well, Jasmine Crockett, she's crazy, so I have to vote for this James Talrico guy. And then you find out, oh, he's crazier than Jasmine Crockett. And I don't say that lightly because she's pretty nutty. So the idea that he's worse, but he's nice. He's nice about it. Okay, well, yeah, he's still crazy. So we talked about that earlier. We also talked about the terrorist attack, the attempted terrorist attack in New York City. A couple of young men tried to blow up an IED at a protest in New York City. They were inspired by ISIS, apparently radicalized online. They had more IEDs in Pennsylvania, so it could have been a lot worse. They were arrested by NYPD. It was kind of downplayed by some in the media, including CNN. So I gave that as an example of why I call them the propaganda press. I call them that, and then it's like they try to continually prove me right. I don't have to look hard for stories like that. So we talked about that earlier. The podcast is up. We had What's Trending. The podcast of that is up as well. And the podcast for the full show will be up on the website, WVNN.com, or anywhere you get your podcast. Make sure to subscribe. Tell your friends, and I'll be back tomorrow. Same time. Thanks to Austin for producing, by the way. Yep, I'll be back. See you tomorrow.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
Every day, excessive delays and denials from big insurers keep patients from accessing the care they need. And when care is urgent, these delays can be disastrous. These practices cost billions in wasteful spending, driving up costs for American families. But while big insurers put up barriers, America's hospitals and health systems are in your corner, navigating endless reviews and appeals to get you the care you need when you need it most. It's time to curb these harmful practices and put the focus back on patients. Brought to you by the Coalition to Strengthen America's Healthcare.